Jesus cares how you treat people you think you don't need. He's watching how you handle them, how you treat them. Anybody can treat somebody good when you want a loan, when you need an equity loan, when you need an investment, when you need a job, when you need some help. But very few people take the time to respect the janitor, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the attendant. You got to treat people with the same dignity. And I just got to talk about how God protects you. You might, to the defenseless, to the broken, to the wounded, to the rejected, to the person who has a scarlet letter on their head. I want you to lift up your head. To the person who has no recourse and can't afford help and can't get the breakthrough that they need. To the person who's tied up in an abusive relationship. To the person who's mistreated on their job and in their neighborhood and in their life. You may not see it, but sooner or later God is going to handle the person that's mishandling you.
One day, it was a Saturday afternoon. A disc jockey by the name of Rockin' Roger was drinking while he was on the air. And I was the only one there. Rockin' Roger got so drunk, he could not complete the show. He started slurring his words. And there I was, looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth, ready and hungry. Then pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager, and I answered the phone. Said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. He said, Rock can't finish his program. He said, would you call one of the other DJs in? I said, yes, sir. I said to myself, he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. And I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and segue the records, but don't say nothing here. I put on a fast record. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single, love Domingo, certified, bona fide, and qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. You gotta be hungry.
Your real life, the one God really got for you, is in your imagination. It is not in your current situation. And if you've been living like that, you have then restricted yourself to a commonality that is really not yours. Because what really God got for you is really in your imagination. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
The most powerful thing you can do is let it slide right off. Don't give it the time of day. Don't think about it anymore. Don't relive it. Don't go call your friends, tell them what they said. Keep your heart pure. Save your emotional energy to live this day to the full, to pursue your dreams, to love your family, to be good to your neighbor. When someone is rude, they're offensive, don't take that personally. It's not about you. It's their own struggles on the inside. They don't like themselves. That's why they don't like you. They're upset over things that have nothing to do with you. You just happen to enter their story when they're blowing off steam. Stay oiled up and move on. None of that will stop your destiny unless you get distracted and start fighting battles that don't matter. Trying to pay people back instead of letting God be your vindicator. This is what David did. 1 Samuel 25, David and his men had been living out in the countryside. They were on the run from King Saul. A man named Nabal lived in the city of Carmel, not far from David. He was very wealthy, thousands of sheep, goats. But verse 3 says, Nabal was a mean man. He was dishonest and hard to get along with. David and his army had been protecting Nabal's property by just being there. They were very powerful. They could have taken the flocks, got rid of his shepherds, but they were good to Nabal. It was time for shearing the sheep, the harvest season. So David sent messengers to Nabal asking for food since they had been protecting his family and flock. You would think Nabal would be grateful. He had these men watching after him, but Nabal was very rude. He said, who is this man David? Never asked him to do anything for me. I don't owe him a penny. Tell him to forget it. I'm not going to give him anything. When David heard that, it set him off. He didn't think about the oil of joy. He didn't sing the psalm he wrote, this is the day the Lord has made. Let's be glad. He was furious. He told his men, pack up. We're going to go take care of Nabal. He said, as surely as I live, not one of Nabal's family members will be alive by this time tomorrow. David was offended, angry. He wasn't going to let Nabal get by with insulting him. And yes, there are times we're supposed to fight. We take action. David fought Goliath, but you have to make sure that battle is between you and your destiny. If not, it's a distraction. David was so wrought up in his emotions, he didn't realize this wasn't a battle he was supposed to fight. How many times are we fighting battles because, like David, we're offended, we're upset, they did us wrong, but that wasn't a battle between us and our destiny. It was just our flesh getting riled up, wanting to take matters into our own hands. We were supposed to let it slide off, not dwell on it, and trust God to be our vindicator. Here's how merciful God is. David was headed toward Nabal's house, full speed ahead, about to make a mistake that would hinder his destiny. Nabal's wife was a lady named Abigail. She was a wise woman. She loaded up 200 loaves of bread, 200 bottles of wine, 500 cakes, and headed out to meet David. When she saw him, she bowed down low and said, "David, my husband is a fool. He's hard-headed, hot-tempered, dishonest. He shouldn't have insulted you. I brought you these gifts, hoping you'll forgive him." She went on to say, "David, you are called to be the king of Israel. Why would you even fight with this fool? Why would you waste your time with this stubborn man? Don't let this needless battle be a blemish on your record." She spoke wisdom into David. She was saying, "David, look at who you are. You're the next king. God is going to entrust you with an enduring dynasty, but you're about to blow it, taking revenge on this fool." David came to his senses. He said, "Abigail, the Lord God of Israel surely has sent you to me today. For if you had not kept me from carrying out vengeance with my own hands, not one of your family members would be alive." We're all going to encounter Nabals in life. People that are rude, hard to get along with, offensive. I'll ask you what Abigail asked David. Why are you fighting with a fool? Why are you in conflict with someone that's not going anywhere? Why are you upset with that person that cut you off in traffic? You don't even know them. Why are you offended at that coworker? They're not between you and your destiny. They can't stop what God has planned for you. So they don't like you. They made negative comments. They left you out. That's a test. You can't reach your destiny without difficult people. Don't get distracted, baited into conflict, in battles that don't matter. Be like that Teflon pan. Don't let any of it stick. God has an awesome future for you, but the enemy will work overtime, like with David, to try to get you distracted, offended, trying to pay people back. Don't take the bait. Abigail came back home the next morning, told her husband what she had done. When he heard it, Nabal had a stroke, became paralyzed. 10 days later, he died. Abigail was a beautiful woman. David didn't waste any time. He sent word asking her to become his wife. She agreed. When you let God fight your battles, you'll come out better than you were before. I'm not saying you're going to get an extra wife, but he'll make it up to you. But if it hadn't been for Abigail, if she had not stopped David from acting on his emotions, we might not be talking about David. If you let people get you upset, offended, where you're focused on paying them back, you can miss your destiny. Maybe today I'm your Abigail. Maybe God sent me to remind you to not let difficult people bait you into conflict, steal your joy, cause you to live frustrated, spending energy on things that don't matter. You can't get away from the Nabals. You may pray one away, Nabal Jr. will show up tomorrow. You have to make up your mind that difficult people are not going to control you. You're not going to let them offend you, upset you, push your buttons. Turn those buttons off. Stay in peace. Time is short. We're not always going to be here. Don't waste another minute fighting with crows, arguing with chicken, debating with turkeys. Be an eagle. Start rising above that. If you'll do this, I believe and declare you're not only going to enjoy your life more, but God will take care of your neighbors. You're going to see vindication, promotion, favor, breakthroughs, new levels of your destiny.
you.